Welcome to the Eyes on EB podcast with Rob and Rachel.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Eyes on EB podcast. We have Rachel here.
Hi.
My co-host. We co-host this together now. And we have the one and only Dom. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Good. Dom's a lifelong resident.
Yeah.
Graduated a few years ago.
22 years old, 22 years in East Brunswick. Graduated East Brunswick High in 2021. Just graduated Rutgers in May.
Awesome. Congratulations.
You're like a celebrity. East Brunswick. There's like Dom sightings. I'm like, oh, look, there he is at the most random places. It's so interesting.
So it's funny, last year when I started doing the Board of Ed speeches and everything, I was walking Bicentennial Park, and this one parent comes up to me. She's like, I just want you to know, this is like seeing a celebrity in public. Yeah. I remember the last time after the last meeting, you said like, I wasn't planning on speaking, but they just say something. And that's me. Like there are meetings where I just go to and I'm like, all right, I'm just not going to speak. I'm just going to hear. Then they say something like the test scores last meeting. I was like, I have to speak. Like I just can't let this go.
I did that this past week also. I told you when we were walking.
Yeah.
I don't really think I'm going to speak. And then I just couldn't stop writing down notes as they were speaking. And I said, I can't let this one go.
Yeah, I saw that. You're very aggressively writing those notes.
Yeah, she does it old school with the pad and everything.
I write everything down. I do. I'm a CYA girl. I have no choice in my field.
And Dom has his hands in everything.
Yes, you do.
You kind of all over the place. So
I try.
Yeah, and you're definitely involved in the community as far as the political side of everything, and even throughout the state, really. So
yeah,
it's always nice for us old folks when we see a young man or a young woman kind of get involved young.
Yeah, I definitely think my generation has to be the new voice and everything, because everything that's going to happen is going to directly affect us.
Sure.
Do you have a lot of friends who are as involved as you are, or are you the outlier?
From town, not so really, but my college friends, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it does make sense.
Like some of my buddies from high school that we hang out, like they're in the know, but they're not like in the real know. Like they don't really know what's happening every day or stuff like that. They don't really, I don't want to say they don't care, but it just doesn't, they're not that interested.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me too. And your answer is what?
And it's an interesting question, because it's like, this doesn't affect you that much.
Mm-hmm.
I would say one for me, like, I think of everyone. Like, I'm thinking of your kids. I'm thinking your kids just graduated. I'm thinking of everyone's kids. Like, I had a great experience. I had a great education. I didn't know all this drama was happening at the time.
That's interesting.
Oh, wow.
But, yeah, I had a great education. I want that for everyone's kids. And then even speaking to some of my old teachers who I still am in contact with, like one of them came up to me and was like, please save us.
Wow.
Yeah, because of everything that's happening.
What do you think happened? What do you think the change, where did because you're saying, I mean, you didn't graduate that long ago, right? So, and you're a post-pandemic graduate.
Yes.
So you were there throughout the whole, you know, craziness of that. So you came out of it with such a positive experience. So you go up there and you're passionate, and it's wonderful. I think it's fantastic that you go up there. Each and every time that you go up there, what do you think your why is? Like, what are you hoping to remind them of, to school them on, quite frankly, right? So like what?
Just like, it's not about money. It's not about numbers. It's about the kids. Mm-hmm. Back when they were thinking about cutting sports and everything, like sports played a big part in my life. And I lived for, football and practice and everything, getting to talk with my buddies, still friends with them to this day. Mm-hmm. They're making a lot of decisions that, are directly affecting students. Like getting rid of the Dr. Hero, who was in charge of so many stuff related to students. talking about cutting sports and this and that. So I think me being a recent-ish graduate and like trying to redirect them to where things were, I hope that helps. Yeah.
Don't you think a lot of that stuff that happened is because the community, I blame it on the community for not, and myself, and just for not paying attention.
Oh, 100%.
Because what happens is, anybody can run anything smoothly when everything is going your way. Then all of a sudden, it's like,
but then afterwards, people like to use that expression, they're, riding the coattails of the blue ribbon, status that we had so long ago. I feel as though that's what they were doing with that innovative thinking of the pandemic. It's that all of a sudden they were just like, wow, we did so great. So, we sort of can ride this wave for a little while, but they were leaving these kids to falter.
Yeah. Even that, sorry, but like even during the pandemic, like the class 2021, like they took away a lot of our stuff. Like
right.
And same thing with 2020, like they took away class 2020's prom, like understandable, but they were told they would get something else.
Okay.
They never got it to this day. They never got it.
So promises made, promises broken.
Exactly. Like with us, we didn't get homecoming. Powder Puff, which I loved doing. It was when the football players were the cheerleaders and like
I remember.
Yeah.
But did anybody ever get any?
So yes, I think a former staff member was saying like each class has an account.
Right.
So I think the class 2020 still has an account with that money in it. And if they wanted to, like, they could ask the board, like, hey, can we use that money for like a reunion?
I was just gonna say you should use that for your 5. What do you usually have, 10-year?
Yeah.
Make a 5-year reunion.
So
Normally you don't have a 5-year reunion, but that would actually be a great way. I mean, and this way it's like far, close enough out where people are still kind of around.
Yeah.
And nobody would have to.
yeah.
You had a couple questions you wanted to ask.
Yeah, no, I was just curious, like, how do you guys feel about endorsements, especially like, let's just say like a current BOE member, and
A sitting Board of Education member right now.
Right, and then let's just say they are personally supporting because they can't officially endorse,
Right.
and they voted ways that you don't agree with, whether it's they voted for the current president again, and they endorse other candidates.
That's a problem for me.
Yeah,
as somebody who still has a decent amount of time in the district with my kids.
I hope people aren't playing play not to lose instead of playing to win, because take Heather James, for instance. She ran a great campaign.
Yeah.
She had signs all over the place. She was on social media all the time.
She's very involved in the community.
Looking back now, I wish she was on the board, for sure. And, she still the fact that she lost, I was shocked. So nobody in that 1, 2, 3 position, or even 4, should feel, because she was number 4 on the thing. People aren't paying attention to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I agree. But I just worry about some of the people that I want in personally, that if they don't do enough work, it's not a shoe-in for them. And they might believe that it is a shoe-in for them, but it's not. And regardless of where you're at, you can lose this pretty easily.
Well, that goes back to...
you have to campaign.
Yeah, well, that goes back to, like, why should people care? Like, realistically, like, what someone might think is, if you don't have a kid in the district, if you don't have a friend or family member that works in the district, why should you care? Well, on the other hand, and Jeff's been really good at pointing this out, like, it affects your tax dollars.
Sure.
Absolutely,
like,
100%.
60% of your taxes that you pay in town go back to the school board. And if you're just going to elect someone who just lets them free reign, write blank checks, so, like, that's going to affect your tax dollars.
Not only that, to double down on what you just said, as it's been shown, especially in our town, very often Board of Education seats are jumping off points for other positions politically, which Board of Educations, as far as I'm concerned, have no business being political or politicized in any way. I know it is, but it has there's no business in there. It's really not. And that's, I think, one of the biggest problems. But that's for a whole nother day. I think that that is why people should get more involved. Because I really think, first of all, transparency, it was right there.
Yeah.
You were able to see for yourself in real time how these people answered questions and how they would think on their feet if presented, like sort of, off the cuff, like, situations. And it was just an interesting thing to see how others approached them and responded. And it was, I don't know.
Yeah. And the answers they didn't know.
Yeah.
And like stuff they should know off the top of the cup.
Yeah.
It was like,
even this last board meeting, some of the things that they asked, some of the questions that were asked by the board members this past meeting were shocking.
yeah.
Like the fact that most of the board members didn't know that every school except 2 is a Title I school in our district. That's a shock.
Right, yeah.
They were shocked,
Yeah.
which is shocking.
Yeah. And the fact that the assistant superintendent didn't know the answers to those questions or just gave generalities.
Mm-hmm.
And I do like how they had these workshops for community input for what they wanted at a board of ed meeting. For
Superintendent.
Sorry.
Yes.
Superintendent. Because again, I think that really helps with what the community wants.
But forgive my cynicism, and I guess it's part of just being in the education system for so long. I sat in one of those. I went to one of those, and I listened to such valuable feedback from. There weren't many people. It was very, very upsetting.
Yeah, that's what
there were like maybe 20 people in the room that I went to. It was. I mean, I understand that what was it, in May or something like that? So people always say that it's the end of the year and it's, there's so many, I get it. But again, this is where we come to community. Like if it's something that is that important, somehow we have to find a way to fit it in. And I know you're preaching to the choir. I'm a single parent. So that's interesting. I want to ask you about that. You did say that you had a great experience and that, did you see any of that just racism, bigotry, anti-Semitism, anti-Islamic, Islamophobia? Have you anti-LGBTQ plus or any? I mean, it broke my heart that these children came up time after time and spoke of these awful experiences that they had on every single whatever.
I was definitely holding back tears that night because that brought chills to me.
That was one of those nights where I sat there and I was like, I'm going to speak, and then I sat down every time someone came up and I was like, I don't want the kids to speak. And then I was like, and I wound up not speaking because they were so much more impactful.
I asked some seniors at the time about all that stuff, and I was asking, like, does that go on? He goes, yeah, but it's kind of like busting chops a lot. But but that's how
toxic positivity, though.
No, I agree. But what I'm saying, that's how some kids took it. So it might have been really hurting some kids, but their response as a defense mechanism.
Well, right, that's what it is. So, it's a defense mechanism.
But that has to be taught.
Well, so then that goes to my next question. This district does nothing when it comes to social emotional learning, social emotional well-being, because those are teachable moments that they should have capitalized on. Yeah. And from my understanding, they did not. It fell flat.
Yeah, well,
they did damage control.
Well, I didn't even know about it. Like as a parent, even though we're white Catholics, I want my kids to understand so I can prepare them if they're going to stick up for one of their friends. I don't know what's going to come out of it. They might say something inappropriate just because
my daughter has been a target of definitely.
Yeah. But everybody needed to know, not just people directly affected.
Well, to answer your question, like, did I notice anything? Like, not real. Like, it wasn't. If it did happen, it was a group of kids. It wasn't like this whole widespread thing. Like I was bullied for being autistic sometimes, but like it wasn't like a big everyday occurrence.
There's as a community, we're responsible for that outside sports, religious organizations. Every organization is responsible for raising that child. It takes a village. That's an expression. But in the schools, we have to make sure that kids, like you said, are heard, and not just when it comes, I do find that unfortunately they are very more quickly to act when it is a disability type thing than it is other targeting, features.
Yeah.
I do. And I'm a special education teacher, so part of me says, thank God, right? I mean, you want that to be true. Yeah. But then other parts of me says, but there are other people being targeted, and why should they suck it up?
Yeah, you hear it
in
too
those
many times for it to be
right.
an isolation.
So I will say, so the supervisor, when I was in 10th grade, the supervisor of health and whatever, Danielle Blaylock, amazing person. She was in charge at the time, and I was telling her, we had a conversation, and she wanted me to help rewrite the health curriculum to be more inclusive with people with disabilities. But unfortunately, COVID then happened. They were going to rewrite it summer of junior year, and then COVID happened, and then she got switched around. So unfortunately, never.
She's guidance now, right? Is
I believe.
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
I think she's definitely somewhere in there.
Okay.
Yeah, she's great.
That's really nice.
Exactly.
Student input.
Yeah.
See, and I have to say, that brings me back to the issues in the district, because they don't allow the people who fill the walls of the classrooms and of the buildings, the actual school buildings, to do what they do best.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's a very big juxtaposition between the board saying that they only are the employer of the superintendent, and the superintendent, is the employer of everybody else, but there's a huge breakdown happening at that level. And that's affecting these really talented people at the building levels. It's affecting them from doing their jobs. I mean, he really has made no secret about that. You need to be pretty in the weeds to not have seen that.
Yeah.
I mean, his body language, everything the other day.
What the board should have done is they should, after the school year ended, they should have said, all right, go home.
I don't know why they're so quick to be filling this spot. I think, considering the issues that we've been having,
and they moved it.
I'm concerned by that. What are they so afraid of waiting until the new board is in place, who will be working with this new person, right? Almost literally immediately.
Yeah.
To have input on the hiring process. Mm-hmm. That's interesting to me.
Yeah.
Especially since there are some on the board who cannot vote on personnel issues.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's another, hurdle they're facing.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting situation we find ourselves in East Brunswick all around.
I find it interesting how he's going to be retiring in February, and that's when all the budget stuff happens again.
Well, he's getting out of Dodge so that he doesn't have to deal with that. I mean, listen, with all due respect, I would do the same thing. I mean, honestly, right? I mean, he's a human being. I will say he's a human being. Daggers were thrown at him.
Yeah. That's another thing. You have your...
Well, it's the board president's fault for not having measurable goals.
Yeah.
Well, that's what it comes down to, is that there's no accountability at the upper levels.
Mm-hmm.
There's a ton of accountability lower. It gets very, very murky in those upper levels. And what we've been learning, and what I've been learning, actually, and it's been very eye-opening, is that apparently, the need for measurable goals for a superintendent has sunsetted over the last few years. And so East Brunswick doesn't feel as though, or the Board of Education doesn't feel as though, the superintendent needs to be held accountable for any specific goals, or at least that's the way it seems from this standpoint.
Yeah. Well, one of the meetings, I'm not sure if it was Lori Locks or Heather, who was board president then, when they asked the board president who makes the goals, they said Victor makes his own goals.
Right, like that.
which is astonishing because like
Which president was that?
I don't know.
But that's so the chain of command is all mixed up.
It's well skewed, right?
He's his own boss essentially, and like the push is there.
Well, here's my thing though. I'm gonna devil's advocate that, because as educators, we are part of creating some of our own goals on our professional development plans. So that is not.
Were you accountable for it or no?
We are held accountable for them. Well, so that's where I'm saying the difference is, but not every goal on there. There's multiple goals on our professional development plans. Not every goal is created by us. There are other goals that are district created and also department created.
Right.
And those goals are created based on the needs of the district. So where like, do they think we're perfect, that we don't need any improvements, so there doesn't need to be any accountability? Goal setting, like that's where I'm having a hard time.
Well, maybe it is they don't know what to do. They're not educated enough to make the goal.
It feels like a lot, like especially after the last one, and I keep harping on it because it's just that it's like we're on the Titanic and we're just denying it sinking.
We're like the violin player. Stood on the steps until the water was up to here, and that was him. And
when my conspiracy theory mind goes, I was like, who are they what are they protecting? What I don't know.
Protecting as far as what?
Whatever contracts or mistakes they made in the past.
Well, we know they've made mistakes because those mistakes were made public.
Right.
Budgetary mistakes.
But maybe there's other
line item mistakes.
I think the problem is like when you don't take accountability for it, like you know.
Right.
That
right.
No, it's not that decision.
Right. Like, and I understand a consensus. Listen, I'm not against. I get there is a definite need for a board of education. And I do not believe that I think actually most members of a board of education should not be educators. I actually think that a well-rounded board of education is the most effective for a town.
Right, critical thinkers.
Absolutely.
And fast learners.
But
I think it should be like a mix of people.
I really do
you should
also.
have some educator, like
It should be a representation of your town, quite frankly. That's what it should be. It should be a blueprint of the people that you are serving.
Right.
I mean,
we might have that now.
I think we do. A little bit.
Yeah.
I think we could do a little better, but that's okay.
Yeah.
But I still think that we have a problem with the egos in the room. So no matter how well-rounded a board of education can be, if people aren't willing to work together for the common good, even if they aren't necessarily aligned.
Right. Yeah. Focus on the goal. People.
Right. Like.
Yeah.
I do see that as being a really big problem.
Right.
Now.
Yeah. I think that we have a lot of great community members that would make fantastic board of education members, but they have young kids, they work full time, and not every single moms or single dads, but
it's also a really toxic environment right now. Right. And quite frankly, I don't blame a lot of people for not wanting to step into this arena. I mean, you got to worry about ethics charges being thrown at you at any whim because somebody was insulted, and I mean, but those are serious things. Like that's like an extra headache for a volunteer position. As a student, I see a very elitist mentality in the way that they teach. I see that from the outside that if you are in honors classes or if you are in need of special services, you're sort of taken care of and cushioned, and I don't want to say taken care of because I don't mean that for the honor. They're very on their own, so that's a whole nother thing. But there's a focus on you, I should say. There's more of a focus on you. I'm afraid of those tier 2 kids in the middle, those middle kids. Do you feel as though there was enough support? I mean, where do you feel you fell? Honestly,
I think I got a good amount of support. I can only speak on my.
I know, obviously.
But in my classes, like the teachers, like they would always go to everyone equally, seeing if they need help. And if you ask for help, they would give you that extra help.
In every school, like throughout.
So I started to really notice all this once I found out I had an IEP in 8th grade, and I was invited to the meetings and all that stuff. That's when I really started to kind of get more involved with my own education and everything like that. So, and where I would notice this stuff, because before that, like, I wouldn't know if I had a different test than another student.
Well, that's a good thing, actually. You're not supposed to. So that means they were doing something right in the lower grades. That's where I'm headed, by the way.
In 9th grade, my bio teacher, Miss Di Benedetti, who was unfortunately, her position was just cut. She this is ironic because now I'm in the science field, but I wasn't always that good at science. So she gave me, she worked with me a lot. She gave me a test and I did well on it, but she told me it was like the most modified version. And then after I did really well, she was like, that was the same test that I gave everyone else.
Oh, wow.
So yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, she was amazing. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So you felt as though you got the services that you needed as a student with an IEP at that time, from 8th grade on, from when you can recall actually being knowledgeable about the situation.
From like Hammarskjold, and I went to Chittick. Like I didn't really notice, like thinking back now, but yeah, I didn't really notice.
Well, that's good. I'm glad.
One of my son notices and he laughs about. He used to like have a good relationship with it a little.
Yeah, I just
think we're stupid sometimes.
Well,
like even
that's what I mean. Like that's just
So when you know,
I just feel as though there's this elitist mentality in that we don't honor everybody's talents.
Yeah.
We don't honor everybody's talents the same, I should say.
Oh, that's for sure.
I think that honors classes and honors this and honors that and the National Honor Society, and look what all of these people did, right? And all of these other, and that's where, like, I remember I went up to in one of the board meetings and I said, those are not the kids that are causing your disciplinary problems.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So I just do think that this district has sort of lost sight of the creativity that those non-typical children can bring to the table, and don't give enough opportunity for the outside of the box students to shine.
I do remember when you went up to it, because I went and then you went, and it was they were listing ways on how to like take care of bullying and everything. And
they sent you home.
Yeah.
So that it wasn't during the scope of the contracted school day for teachers.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Wow.
Interesting. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, it's sad to me because what makes me sad as an educator is that's the innovative thinking that I think solves problems, right? So I had suggested, and I mean, I'm going to go out there. I volunteered to be on committees for so many years with this district, and they, you know, placate me because they know that I won't, you know, stop talking, but they don't want to, you know, bother with me. But there's so many things they could do with students in a 15-minute period with non-instructional time. Yeah. And I'm not going to do their job for them because I've given them so many ideas, and I say, like, you know, I'm not doing your job for you, like, but that seems to me like such a waste of 30 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
I certainly hope they do better.
They actually, because so many students like hated it, they sent out a survey to see like to every student, like, what do you think of it? And now I don't want to say I'm conspiracy theorist, but like they said that the majority of those responses were positive.
No way.
Yeah. And
wait, that's really funny. You know what? Go on, finish, and then I'll tell you why that makes me laugh.
And like all of like I had people that sent whole essays about why they hated it, and like. And all my friends, we were just like, yeah, like there's no way. Like they saw the one response that said they liked it or whatever.
No, they didn't. They saw all the negative responses.
So
they just chose to focus on.
Yeah.
They made their own narrative.
People like love logging back on.
Yeah, they created their own narrative.
Yeah.
That's
none of my friends liked it.
It's like what Judge Judy says: "Don't pee on my leg and tell me it's reading." Come on now.
It's so funny,
right? I agree with somebody who was in the thick of it and knows that it has a direct positive effect on those students, and that I was actually very pleased because I do feel as though that is an outlet for many children who may not be academically inclined or focused as much as other students, and yet they can tap into their creativity and, you know, and be really successful in those other ways. Yeah. So to eliminate those opportunities for students, again, tier 2 students very often, and those, you know, that other, you know, really, you know, interventions here, they need those other outlets. And I do agree with you that Dr.
Yeah, I don't think a lot. I don't think a lot of people realize what you just said is that when you have success in something, it helps with the other stuff. Yeah. If I was a good athlete, my success with athletics helped me with my academic.
And it helps be a motivator for educators, by the way, because I have to tell you, I was, as an educator, I worked very closely with coaches and to motivate students who were not motivated in the classroom, but were motivated on the field. And we connected and we would speak with that child. Yeah. We would say, hey, you know, you gotta carry, you know, your leadership skills or whatever skills you are so successful with, that you need that connection. You can't get rid of those other things.
Yeah.
We can't teach from the neck up only.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
So talk to my coach.
Yeah. So yesterday,
they were the most influential people in my life.
And quite frankly, we were talking just the other day with somebody, and we said that the most out of the box, the teachers that are remembered the most in East Brunswick are the out of the box educators. Did you ever think of that? Like, I had a Mr. Michaud. Did you hear of Mr. Michaud?
No.
Do they still have humanities?
Yes.
Okay, so Mr. Michaud and Miss Konigsberg, Miss Koenig, I can't remember her name, were humanities teachers, and that was where the magic happened. That was where kids were able to be themselves, and you know, the chorus teachers and the, you know, the IPLT, all of those other outside of the regular academic classes are where all the magic happened, and it allowed 100%. Every type of kid 100%. To shine in some way. We've lost that a little.
So there was a chorus teacher, Miss Weiss. She was there forever, and she retired right after I left Hammersholt in 8th grade. And they would always have a song in the concert where like alumni could come up and sing it, and she would have people that were like in their late 20s or 30s,
right, coming back, right,
sing that song because she had that impact on people.
There are so many people floating around this world who graduated from East Brunswick High School who have careers in the arts.
Zach Morrison.
That are Shirley Halpern.
Yeah.
Shirley Halpern just became a co-editor of what was
Rolling Stones, right?
Rolling Stones. I mean, the first female co-editor. She's from East Brunswick High School. Like, Scott Gottlieb was the, the
Jax.
Yeah, like there's just, I mean, immense talent in this town, right? They're just like crazy.
That's where I'm.
Len Slater. I mean, and then there's other people who were really successful in their fields who didn't, also may not have been academically inclined, but we don't give them the props because they weren't academic.
Yeah, I could touch on that a little bit. I was talking to a gentleman that his culture is more about academia, right? Strictly academia and music, but their concern is about what college to get into, and I think that's what the public school system is about. My goals for my children is how can they be happy and make a good living?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
And entrepreneurial, and we don't. Public school system does a poor job of focusing on that.
Because the public school system is geared to create college professors.
Right. Yeah. No.
That's what it's focused for.
Yeah.
It's to create college professors. Think about it.
There should be a class like this.
Yeah.
The extroverts do the do the thing. The introverts behind the camera.
Right.
And it should be classes of just creating content.
I think there's a club at the high school. It's like video newsmakers.
Yeah.
They would do the morning news.
Right. Which is great.
Yeah, and it was fun.
But why can't?
But being introduced to it by accident is what you have to. Like, I got in photography because I took a class. I wasn't.
Well, right, and that's and also why my question to you, and not to you, but to the board or to the district itself would be, why does that have to be a club? Why can't the English teachers do news
Yeah.
Like we do, you talk about informative, you read informational text, right? You start that very early in the early grades. Like, why can't learning those skills be incorporated into different modalities rather than just sitting at a desk and reading an article and answering A-B questions related to the article that you just read?
Exactly, yeah. And it's funny, so back when I was in 10th grade, that's when like the first like cut the arts stuff started to happen. And
wow, so that was a long time ago.
Yeah, that 5-6 years ago, something like that. And packed the board meeting, and Jesse Eisenberg's sister was actually there.
Haley?
She spoke, yes. She spoke, Zach Morrison spoke.
Wow.
And they all related their experiences and their skills that they got from all these theater classes and art classes, and they told the board. And I remember the president of the board at the time, she heard all these speeches, and she was like, I'm actually thinking, why not just make theater a club instead of a class? And I'm like, did you hear what anyone just said? Like, we don't want it a club. We want it as is. But yeah,
It's hard for public education to keep up with the times. It's costly, right? I mean, isn't that difficult? Like, things have changed so much.
That's probably why they have.
I don't know that it's as costly
No.
you think it is. It doesn't cost anything to think outside the box.
Right. No, but you would have to.
Educators are very good at making things work with little.
Right.
Because
Yeah,
we're
that's-
just forced to. The problem. So herein lies the problem. One of the problems in East Brunswick is that I don't see them giving their educators enough professional autonomy to know the students they have in front of them and how to approach them best.
Right.
Which is kind of what I had spoken about the other day, that there's a lack of differentiated instruction, and I don't know that it's necessarily a teacher's decision. I think that they're forced. So I don't think that it's as challenging to think outside the box as the higher ups think it is.
Right.
If they just allowed the teachers to do their job
Right.
the way they know how.
Yeah. Well, I think, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but were you trying to say, like, it would cost more for it to be a class than versus a club?
Oh, no.
Oh, okay.
No, not
That's
at
what
all.
that's why.
No, I think it should be a class. Yeah, I think.
Well, I think, like, the reason why...
Because clubs are after school. Some
Yeah.
people play sports, and so.
And also, you can't cut late buses and then have clubs.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, that was another...
that's counterproductive, right? So
That just
then you
hurts.
eliminate that whole opportunity for those children altogether.
Yeah.
Yeah, and, like, I guess I'm lucky because, like, the high school was probably, like, a few blocks. Like, I could walk to the high school from my old house, but, like, there are kids who live all the way down on Rita Avenue. Who
My
walk.
children
Right.
can't walk.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I'm a single parent, and I can't get home in time to pick them up after school. So I am one of those people that a lack of late buses directly affects what my children can and cannot do.
Exactly.
I have a child who, on her own, looked into charter schools and private schools and magnet schools around the area to attend alternately instead of East Brunswick public schools because she doesn't feel as though it's meeting her needs.
Oh, wow,
That's
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, it's awesome that.
And that
As a public educator, I wanted to
Of course.
cry and break
100%.
in a million pieces.
But that she took that initiative is cool.
I know. I mean,
Yeah.
as a parent, I'm like, woohoo, that's fantastic. As an
that-
educator, I want to cry.
that goes to, like, how the district's on, like, a downward trend, because I never felt that way when I was in high school. Like, I loved being East Brunswick. I loved the teachers, I loved the classes.
She loves her teachers.
Yeah.
Not all of them, but she does love her teachers. Who loves all of their teachers? There's a lot of people that hate me. But it's more the obstacles. It's more the way the instruction is delivered. It's more that it's cookie cutter. And when she's done doing the work, it's busy work that they give them, which is what they call, like, the challenging, like, it's not challenging. So that's where that lack of innovative thinking of you have a whole bunch of different students who are in this one classroom, so you have to acknowledge all of them.
Yeah.
You know, not just the really high ones and not just the real, you know, the lower ones, like those middle kids that are quiet and may not be the behavior problems. Yeah. Don't forget about them.
Yeah. And that's why, I think having all these variety of clubs is really good, because there may be, cause like in college, like that's where I found most of my friends were clubs.
Clubs that you were directly interested in.
Exactly. Yeah. And even in high school, like to this day, I'm still friends with my football buddies and the people that I met sports for. Like I'm still friends with those people. Like even like I probably have some friends if I didn't do that, but like I wouldn't have as nearly as the support system I have now.
No. Well, guys, I think we could wrap it up here. I think we did a great job. Thanks for coming in.
Wow, Dom, this was fantastic. Thank you.
I'll do this every week.
Any last words? Anything you want to say to anybody? Any candidates?
Any advice you have for the candidates?
Any advice to people like my kids going off to college and all that stuff?
The candidates, I would say listen to the constituents, see what they want, and have a good moral compass to kids that just graduated or are about to go off to college next year or two. Have fun, enjoy it. Stay involved, stay active, stay close to hang out to your friends at home. Don't forget your support system at home.
That's good advice.
That is advice. Don't forget your roots, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Don't forget your roots. Hang out. Try to hang out every so often with your friends back home. To the youth in general, stay involved. Register to vote.
I was just gonna say, to those who don't go and get involved, no matter what side of the political spectrum they may be on, to youth your age, like what's your message to them?
Stay involved, know the issues, know what you're passionate about, and have that decide what you're just know what you're passionate about.
Okay.
Be open-minded.
Yeah, be open-minded, know what you're passionate about.
So great. Yeah. Open-minded.
Listen to others. Really just knowing what you're passionate about. Like me, it's the environment. Very passionate about the environment.
Okay.
So that's where I go.
That's what fuels you.
Yeah.
Right.
Awesome.
Great.
Thank you, Dom.
Thanks, Dom.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming back. Good. Awesome, guys.